Hello and welcome to another edition of Talks with Gio and Bern. We're so excited to connect with you today because we're going to be talking about how to connect to the kind of confidence that men just can't get enough of. And Gio and I were talking about this before we started this conversation with you. And basically about the fact that it breaks our hearts to see how many women have shut down their emotional intelligence and their heart by stepping into the kind of confidence that they've been taught is the right kind of confidence. That's not really authentic, but it's a step up from feeling like they're a doormat from someone else. So that's what we want to explore today and show you, basically based on our experience helping a lot of women get this, to step it for yourself and be able to create something that's more authentic, where you can really get what you want instead of getting that wall of getting the same bad result with guys time and time again. So Gio, let's start by asking you, you've connected with women who actually are in this space where they want to feel confident and they're kind of like overdoing it with their head. Can you tell me kind of what is that, and what is the price these women are paying by not connecting to the real level of confidence from their heart?
Well, I think that we're continuously sold that in order to be worthy of love, we have to be something that we're not, right? And so I think this whole confidence thing that we're being told on how to be confident and how to have strategies, you know, to show up as a goddess or to show up as a divine feminine woman, or they can be helpful if they're authentic, if they're definitely coming from the inside out. But if not, it can just be another mask that we're wearing. It can be another way that we hide our heart and we hide the real needs of our heart. And so, you know, oftentimes I'll have women, and I know that you have this too, Bern, who'll come in conversation, and in our initial conversation, they'll look at me and I can tell that their hearts are saying, Gio, I want love more than anything, right?
Yeah.
And then, but they'll say something like, I want a man, but I don't need one. And that sounds extremely inauthentic. It's not authentic. It's not what their hearts are crying out for, but it's the popular thing that's going around that's telling us that, you know, we don't need to need each other, because that's the way that we protect ourselves from pain, right?
Yeah, and also because, I mean, some women want to feel like if they don't want to be needy, they don't want to feel like they're grasping onto someone who may not deserve them or something, but they're also not being authentic. I mean, I really believe, I mean, just like you do, that we human beings, men and women, need their counterparts. Now, it doesn't mean, I mean, if you're a guy and you might need a woman, or a guy, depending if you're gay or straight, but you need someone to counterbalance that energy that you have, and also to help you expand happiness. The purpose of a relationship is not just spiritual growth, but it's an expansion of happiness that you can't do on your own.
It's companionship. It's someone being there, someone knowing you very deeply, someone, you know, men help us women on so many levels. And so a lot of the times the way that we deal with the loneliness and pain as women of not having someone is trying to convince ourselves, well, I don't have a need, it's just a want. And that's actually, I believe, it's a form of control and a form of self-protection that can have us showing up as not vulnerable and not authentic.
And some women consider that to be kind of like confident, right? Just like when you connect to someone who has this idea of who she is, and she might be accomplished and beautiful and smart, but she is not humble. There's no humility in her. And this confidence comes out not just as inauthentic, but there's like this wall that doesn't, you might admire her or think that she's great or something, but it doesn't inspire devotion, it doesn't inspire service, it doesn't inspire you getting out of your way to do whatever it takes to connect with someone.
What inspires devotion?
What inspires devotion is connecting to someone who can know you and see you, and who opens her heart and, as a man, allows you to give to her. Right? Devotion is inspired by service. So if a woman has this idea of who she is in her mind and she doesn't feel it in her heart, then she doesn't make it accessible for a guy to offer his gift to her. And she basically is coming from this place of, I don't need you, it's a nice to have, it's cool if you do this, but like, she's not heart open.
It's a nice extra.
Exactly, and she's thinking, hey, all this time I'm very confident because I don't need this guy.
Yeah, but then on the weekend she's crying herself to sleep, she's watching all the romantic movies, and denying that everything within her is really, really wanting this partnership, right?
Exactly. So let's talk about how do we create authentic heart confidence versus this bullshit idea of head confidence that doesn't even fulfill the woman that's actually going into it long term, much less attract a guy to connect with her, right?
Well, I think this is such an important point, Bern. I think, so let's say that we're showing up as needy, and we're codependent and we have a lot of neediness. Instead of really healing that neediness and really doing the inner work that's going to take us to a place of fullness, I mean, we're all, and understanding that we will have needs for a partner, You know what I mean? And seeing what are the healthy needs for a partner, but really making ourselves responsible for our neediness, which really neediness is self-abandonment. Instead of doing that, we leave the neediness intact internally, and we want to put a shell on top of it called I don't need anyone confidence. And so here you have a woman who has a shell on top of herself and saying, you know, I'm a goddess, I'm this, I'm that. But she's terrified of being vulnerable because she knows that there's a self-abandonment and a self-neglect, and if it comes out, it's not attractive.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because neediness is always about using the other. You know, it's not about seeing the other, it's not about connecting with the other, it's not about loving. It's about using the other for everything we're not giving ourselves. So yeah.
So that makes you feel like, okay, if you need someone that way, where like you're not giving something to yourself, then of course you want to close off, because otherwise you feel like you lose yourself in a relationship. So another way around this would be to start figuring out what do you want, what is it that you want, what are the qualities you're seeking in someone, a mate, and then become the reciprocal of that, so that if you're in the process, even if you're not there, even if you're far off from doing that, but you're in progress of creating this kind of life for yourself, you're in progress of stepping into your feminine, you're in progress of opening up and being passionate. I hear so many women say, I want this guy who's super masculine and is passionate, and they are somebody who's super masculine as well and who's not passionate. So it's like it's a mismatch. So if you start stepping into the reciprocal of what you want, and in some cases the same essence, like if you want somebody passionate, well, guess what? You need to be passionate yourself. If you want somebody vulnerable, and by vulnerable, it's a man that connects his heart to ours, that shows us that he needs us, that he would feel devastated if he lost us. If you want that, you need to learn how to show vulnerability, and you need to really show, because vulnerability will create that emotional safety for a man that will have him be devoted to you. Exactly. So when you start doing that, Gio, when you start stepping into that, then you don't have to work at creating confidence. The confidence is created by the fact that you're stepping into you're resonating, you're creating, you're giving, and that creates confidence, but it's not the confidence of I can control my world, even though you're not really controlling anything, but that's what women feel when they're doing this head confidence. I don't control things, but I inspire them. And the inspirational piece of things gives someone true confidence, because then, even if the guy goes away, she has the capacity to create it again. She doesn't have to have everything worked out or planned out to where if the guy goes, then she has to start with a plan again. No, she has the capacity to inspire this devotion, this inspiration from someone. And that is where she can, in real life, get the sense of, you know what, this actually works.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. And I think the important thing is also developing a relationship with ourselves that alchemizes all these things into life. And that's a very complex way of saying that, you know, if you have neediness, you know, like I said, the way that we've tried to protect ourselves from that unhealthy vulnerability is by pretending we're not needy and making ourselves, you know, perfect, or trying to control this image of who we are. And really, when you go to neediness, it's just, you know, accepting that there are parts of yourself that you need to develop a relationship of acceptance with, a relationship of love and compassion with, and just understanding that neediness is always a result of lack in our lives. It's always a result of a lack of love, a lack of support, a lack of joy, a lack of understanding, a lack of correct beliefs about ourselves. That's all it is. It's being needy isn't something to be ashamed about. It's simply a lack of something else. And so the more that you move to build the foundations of attraction and healthy relationship, which is to work on your inner life and to work on the life outside of you that's going to support you and fill you with passion and radiance and happiness, the more you do that, the more naturally confident and attractive and connected you become.
Yeah, and then the results speak for themselves, because the results that you can experience with someone, and the depth you can go into when you arrive at life from this place of you're doing the things you need to do and you're being the way you need to be, the results are significantly better, although they're scarier, because that means, now if somebody leaves, you actually feel more hurt because you really care about them. But in that fear, in that risk that you're taking, you also stand to gain everything you're looking for. You stand to get the love of your life. You stand to connect with somebody at the level that you've never connected with anyone before, and to feel seen and loved and appreciated and hugged in a way you've never had before. So I think that, yes, it's a steep price to pay, but it's a price that without paying it, then you're gonna die alone, basically.
Yeah, you're gonna die alone, and you're not gonna be able to form that relationship. So essentially what Bern and I are saying here is that, you know, we need to become the sort of women that can sustain that relationship with a man and can hold a man's heart in a way that inspires him and in a way that creates that emotional safety.
And when you're able to do that and you start stepping into that, then the confidence will be who you are. You don't have to step into it. So if you like what we're talking about here, we invite you to do a couple of things. First one is to click like on this video, subscribe to our channel, and also leave a comment below letting us know what is the biggest takeaway you have from this, or any questions you may have, we'll be happy to answer them. And most importantly, if you haven't done so yet, we invite you to click on the link below. There's going to be a place where you can subscribe to our newsletter and also get a free 3-part video series that can show you how to become the only woman he loves for the rest of his life. Thank you so much for connecting, and have an amazing day.